What's up, A to Z Sports live on a Victory Friday. Ooh, huge win for the Titans over the Niners last night on Thursday Night Football. The Titans get it done with a Randy Bullock field goal once again. Titans 20, Niners 17. It was doom and gloom at halftime as the Titans were down 10-0 at half in an abysmal first half and a huge second half by A.J. Brown and Ryan Tannehill. The Titans defense getting a couple turnovers and some big stops against the Niners there in the second half. Stefan's already on to me already. So we're going to have a great show on this Victory Friday, also Christmas Eve. And really, we're going to talk about what A.J. Brown's performance does for the Titans as they get ready for a big Christmas weekend off, but have several outcomes we're looking for over the weekend, starting Christmas night with the Colts at the Cardinals. So we'll talk about that. But really, what I think the second half of that game and that win does is it resets our expectations for this Titans team into the playoffs, And I do believe that fans are fired up from this. We're going to have a big show on this Friday morning. Merry Christmas to all. We're going to have a good conversation, and we'll talk about the three things Titans fans need to root for the 1 seed and to clinch the AFC South over the weekend. And we'll talk more about A.J. Brown and who else impressed us most in last night's win outside of Arthur Juan. And we do wrap up this week on a Friday with Ain't That Good News going into Christmas. So, Zach, going to be a great show. A lot better today with a win working on Christmas Eve than if the Titans lost that game working on a Christmas Eve morning. But what's going on?
Yeah, I tend to discuss, and Merry Christmas to everybody that watches the show, interacts with us, follows us. We truly do appreciate that on every platform, whether you're, in Dallas or go to our website. It doesn't really matter. We do wish you a Merry Christmas. So we are working on Christmas Eve, but that's just kind of the nature of the business. That's what we signed up for years ago, and we're glad that you guys are piling in, and more will over the next several minutes. We're broadcasting live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. We will also tweet out that YouTube link on our Twitter, so you can go there and subscribe and ring the bell. And that means live alerts, right? Live notifications. That's important. So when we go live, you guys are informed. They also have that on Facebook, but subscribe to our YouTube channel. We had a massive show last night after the Titans beat the 49ers with 4 seconds left to go. Randy Bullock hits a field goal, puts them up by 3. They go on to win the game. And that sends a big-time message going into this weekend that we'll discuss for all the other AFC teams to say what they need to do. So a ton to discuss on Facebook, bottom left corner of your screen. Share now to public. Sharing is caring, and caring is sharing. We go live every weekday morning at 8. We got you covered this morning at 8 on Christmas Eve. So let's get this party started. Austin, it sounded like from the start of the show, you're amped for the show. I'm amped for the show. I think the chat is. I think we're going to have a damn good show.
I agree. So let's get it going officially. Welcome into A to Z Sports, powered by BetMGM. I'm Austin Stanley. He is Zach Bingham. Make sure you follow us all over social media. We're Nashville's on-demand sports talk network, and we go live every weekday morning on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Also hit us up on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Got to thank our sponsors because they truly do make everything happen for our show and for our companies and for our company, and they help out you guys. Renters Warehouse Nashville, the professional landlords in the area at renterswarehouse.com. Mandu, the Pulse of Fitness, 1 15-minute workout equals 5 or more hours in the weight room. Mandu.com, your first workout, absolutely free. Wilson County Hyundai, hit them up in Lebanon or go see them at wilsoncountyhyundai.com to make them part of your car buying process. And the Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. I mean, we can't say enough how big that win was for the Tennessee Titans last night. And it makes it even feel a little bit bigger because of what the situation was at halftime, being down 10-0, not having a point scored since the first half in Pittsburgh last Sunday. But what a different tune everybody is singing this morning with the Titans win and 20 points in that second half, Zach. 2017 with a big night from A.J. Brown and Ryan Tannehill coming up in the clutch. You wake up feeling good on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, well, definitely a tale of two halves because, they struggled in Pittsburgh in that second half. They struggled in the first half of last night's game, but something switched. I don't know what was said at halftime. I don't know what Mike Vrabel did, but A.J. Brown got going. And you know what was crucial? If you look at the setup of the second half or the start of the second half, what was crucial was that drive. And honestly, it kind of changed everything, even though it ended in a field goal. It was a 13-play, 55-yard drive that chalked up 6 minutes. That's to start the third quarter. That's called control, my friend. Now, you wish that you would have gotten seven points. The third down play call, maybe a little questionable, but at least you got points, right? We talked about that at halftime. It was 10-0. Well, where's this game going to go? We knew the Titans were going to get the ball. If they didn't do anything with it like they hadn't done in the first two quarters, the 49ers had an opportunity to now go up 13 or maybe 17-0, and then I think it's out of reach. All of a sudden, you get 3 points. First throw from Jimmy Garoppolo is an interception because of a bad throw. And honestly, good defense, right? That zone, those linebackers stayed in their zone, so Garoppolo had to throw over the top. It went right to Amani Hooker. They capitalized with a Foreman touchdown. You blink, and I tweeted this out, what the hell just happened? It's 10-10, and it's a completely new game. And that's where I think home field came into play. There were a lot of Titans fans there last night, right? Thursday night, everybody doesn't usually have to work tomorrow or this morning. And I thought that kind of shifted the energy to the Titans' favor. And you saw it on the broadcast. They said it themselves. They're like, what happened? This should have been 24-0. And then all of a sudden it was 10-10. That was game-changing to start the third.
Yeah, Billy says AJ balled out, and Buck Rising has an article out there this morning, A2ZSports.com, where AJ Brown's done something that the NFL hasn't seen in 40 years, and that's the fact that he converted 8 third downs. And that's the crazy thing about what AJ Brown did, is that the Titans have been missing the explosiveness from the passing game. I don't know if you remember, I believe it might have been Tuesday's show, when we talked about this. The short weeks got me all kind of messed up, but I mentioned that AJ Brown can fix 2 Titans offensive issues that they've been having over the last couple of weeks, and that's not the turnovers. Now, they didn't have any turnovers last night, but I said explosive plays in the passing game and red zone scoring. Well, he had explosive plays in the pass game, converting 8 third downs on his own. So 8 of his 11 catches were third down conversions. And he had big plays on top of that and a red zone touchdown. That was an 18-yard touchdown catch from Ryan Tannehill, but a red zone touchdown where they didn't have to settle for a field goal in that big spot, because it would be very different if the Titans kicked a field goal to go up 13-10 rather than score that touchdown to go up 17-10 with the way that was going. And I saw this from Mike Vrabel too. Mike Vrabel, was saying how fantastic AJ was and how they expect that. And they battled. They got 6 third down conversions when it was 3rd and 10 or more. And the Titans consistently put themselves in bad situations from really negative first and second down plays. But with AJ Brown, you have life on 3rd and long. Nick Westbrook-Akine actually converted 2 of those 3rd and 10 or longers, but he had extra room because AJ and Julio are on the field. That's what we're talking about. So you saw a Titans offense that's more explosive. They can spread things out, and it made everything that much easier for Ryan Tannehill, and it made it easier for Todd Downing that he didn't have to come up with incredible play calls. Just call number 11's number and throw it up to him and see what happens.
And something that I think needs to be recognized, the Titans didn't run the football very well.
No.
They did this through the air, and that's unusual and they are a running football team. That is their core being, especially when they don't have wide receivers like they haven't had over the last several weeks. And now that A.J. Brown gave them a surge, but they only had 67 yards rushing if you take Tannehill's 22-yard scamper at the end of the game, and he had a 1-yard run earlier. So, excuse me, that's 23 yards. You sit there and you say 3 running backs. Foreman's big run got called back because of holding and the face mask, but they didn't run the ball efficiently. So the 49ers, and I guarantee that was their game plan going into it, is make the Titans one-dimensional. The surprising thing is
they took away the wrong dimension.
they took away the wrong dimension. In the second half, they thrived in the secondary, and A.J. Brown was making, he had some tough catches, but majority, he was open, right? he had ran his route to get open for the majority, I feel like, of his targets. There were a couple, like the back shoulder throws in the end zone and one that was thrown up by Tannehill that wasn't very good, incompletions. But other than that, I mean, he had room to turn and go upfield and make big plays, and you saw that.
Yeah, A to Z Sports here live on this Friday morning. And we talked about this in the pregame show we did last night, Zach, and it was that Mike Vrabel needs to find some magic. Now, I mentioned this. The Titans were 4-0 this year without Taylor Lewan starting or finishing the game against Buffalo. Chalk that up with another win. The Titans are 5-0 this year when they don't finish the game with Taylor Lewan or start the game with Taylor Lewan at left tackle. They somehow find ways to do things. Dylan Radins plays well. Roger Saffold out too. Aaron Brewer gave up a sack. Both Radins and Brewer gave up a sack, but overall did enough for the Titans offense to do something pretty special in that second half.
You expected those type of plays to happen. They just were working with, again, secondary players. Radins was thrown into a position that, look, he had to step up, but I wasn't surprised that you had singular plays that maybe Radins gets beat or Brewer gets beat or Questenberry gets beat, but they didn't destroy your entire offense, right? I think that was the worry going into the game without Saffold and Lewan, and they managed pretty well. And Austin, I was surprised in that post-game show when we had close to 1,000 live streamers, a lot of people were yelling for Radins and applauding his performance. And I don't think that we would have said that at the beginning of the game going up against Nick Bosa.
Well, I just saw some stats on Dylan Radins, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit more about it. But going back to Mike Vrabel, this is a Mike Vrabel type of game. And Zach, your stat that you brought up several times throughout last night was that Mike Vrabel, after last night's win, is now 19-15 straight up as an underdog. That is insane. 19-15 straight up as an underdog. The best underdog win percentage from an NFL head coach since 2000. Is that correct? I mean, it's insane. Approaching 60% win percentage as an underdog.
Well, and they win games like they did last year. That's why I predicted them to win. That was like, sometimes things are unusual, right? Like, but and that is a stat that I think is unusual to a lot of Titans fans, but we've seen it a lot. I mean, well, we've seen it 19 times, but in those primetime games where, I mean, there's been a couple of games that they've been blown out. I mean, you think about last year in Green Bay against the Packers. They were underdog then, and they played like an underdog, right?
Patriots a few weeks ago, right? Losing by 23 as an underdog.
Right, but then they beat the Bills. They beat the Chiefs the last couple of years, right? And so they've shown that in big-time moments they can come to play, and that playoff run, underdogs against the Patriots, underdogs against the Ravens, 2 massive wins. Now, they were underdogs against the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game, and they lost the game. Were they favorites in last year's wild card game?
Yeah.
By
it wasn't much, but yes,
1, 2, or 3.
Yeah, it was a short line, but they were favorites as the home team. Yes.
So here's the only thing that I would say for the AFC, and we'll talk about the whole playoff picture. What last night did is helped you because it was a Thursday night looking ahead. That makes you feel good, right? Christmas is going to be a little bit warmer by the fire because you did your job. Now, 49er fans are feeling a completely different way because both teams were teetering, right? I mean, no team is solidified yet. These are the December games that you have to win. And Mike Vrabel, I mean, and we'll play it. He said it himself on what that meant and what everybody was talking about the Titans surrounding that team going into last night's game.
Yeah, hell of a quote from Mike Vrabel.
Where everybody has us after this week, we were the funeral for the Titans, was yesterday or today, but we're not dead yet. We'll come back and we'll play. I guess the Dolphins next, right? That's who we got in 10 days. This weekend's going to feel really good. I'm happy.
He's happy, and you'll feel good over the Christmas weekend there, Coach. You're not dead yet. So let's ask this question and get everybody more involved. We got a great audience this morning on Christmas Eve. Happy to have you guys along with us on this Friday morning. What is your confidence level in this Titans team right now. You got to wake up feeling great after AJ goes for 145 and 11 catches and a go-ahead touchdown. But what is your confidence level in this Titans team right now? And let's just set some tangible standards on these 1 through 10. 10 is you think they're going to go to the Super Bowl. 1 is you think they're going to miss the playoffs. So just let's set those parameters up. So a 10 is you think they're going to go to the Super Bowl and win the damn thing. And then 1 is you think they're going to miss the playoffs. So let's get those comments flying in here. But real quick, after I tell you about Renters Warehouse, read your comments. Renters Warehouse Nashville, the professional landlords in the area. Simply head to renterswarehouse.com to find out how much your home can rent for. There's so many different ways you can use Renters Warehouse to your benefit, whether it's creating extra cash flow for you and your family, or it's for creating long-term equity, which means long-term wealth, and get your retirement plan ready by jumping in Rent Estate. And Renters Warehouse, they do all the work. You don't do anything. You're not the landlord. They're the landlord. You own the property. They do the work. You get the money. That's how it works. And it's only for a low cost every month for them to handle everything about your rental property. To jump in the Rent Estate game and use the pros at renterswarehouse.com.
BetMGM, shout out to AJ Brown and shout out to everybody that was listening to the pregame show. I told you, put that money on AJ Brown over. He went over 100 yards, and that the bar was set for under 70, so that he flew past that. I won my $60 bet last night, and now I got a parlay boost because of BetMGM. I believe I got a free bet. Risk-free bet. I'll take it. Hey, risk-free,
that's just for Christmas Eve. Everybody got that. I got that too.
Right? So put it to use. If you're not a part of the BetMGM family, it's very easy. If you're in the state of Tennessee, download the app and use the promo code ATOZ for a risk-free up to $1,000 bet. $1,000 for new users. Download the app today.
All right, yeah, use that code ATOZ Sports. Okay, so here's the question. We got parameters set. What's your confidence level in this Titans team right now, 1 through 10, with 10 being winning the Super Bowl, 1 being missing the playoffs?
Well, shouldn't we change 1 to being dead, like Vrabel said, right?
Well,
dead.
I mean, if they miss the playoffs, that would be dead. Now, Zach, I told you this before the show. If the Titans lose out, if they lose to the Dolphins and lose to the Texans for a second time, meaning they get swept by the Houston Texans, if that happens, the Titans still have a 98% chance to make the playoffs. So 1 means you are just doom and gloom and everything's going to go wrong. 10 is everything's going to go right and the Titans are going to win the Super Bowl and we're going to have a big-ass parade in middle of February down Broadway Nissan Stadium.
Okay, all right.
That's the parameters we're setting here, right?
No, I know. Let's see. Quick prediction. I'm going to read some comments. Okay. Do you think there will be a 10?
Oh, I've seen several 10s. Tina just says 10 plus. Tina's living on 11 right now.
Tina also said that was the best game that they played all year. I would say, and I don't agree with that, Tina, but there was a period of time. Here's where I will agree with Tina. There was a period of time in last night's game where they were playing without Derrick Henry, their best player, extremely good football. And I don't think that we've seen that from the offense since he went down. They played good football against the Rams at times, but it wasn't the offense that ignited them. So that was a good comeback. So let's go to the chat.
Yep.
1 through 10. You set the parameters. Steven is at a 4. Roberto, early morning. He's at a 7. So shout out to Roberto there on YouTube. Burning Devil 2010. There's an opportunity for you.
There's a lot of 10s.
Yeah, that may yield a sound a little bit. That may yield a sound a little bit later. I set you up for that. Billy says 7. Omar says 10. Adam says 8. Ricochet Ray, good for the show, says 7. Eric says 5. TKB says 7, or excuse me, 8. Troy says 7. But will be a 10 if the King returns healthy. And I think a lot of people are waiting for that. David says 6. Van says 9.5. Impressive performance. Brandon says 6.5. A ton of comments coming in. Ronnie with an 8. Orlando with a 9. Marquis with an 8. Mike with a 8. Jarvis with a 7.5. 6.5 from Seth. Eric says 5. First round loss. So a little pessimistic. And look, Eric, we read 10s, we read 5s. It doesn't really matter. That could be the case. And they got to they still have problems, right? Derrick Henry's not back. Julio Jones is not giving you much. Your tight end position still slaw at times. And what is your offensive line going to be? So there's still issues. Mark says 6.5. Adam says 8. And Terrence says 8. Defense is top notch. Where do you reside, Austin, on this question?
All right. So, look, the Titans are getting healthy at the right time when it comes to their superstars, right? Having A.J. Brown do that makes you feel fantastic. Having the defense play like this yet again, I'll say it again. I think I've said it 5 weeks in a row. The Titans have a defense that gives you a chance to win every game you're in, and I'm extending that into the playoffs. I truly think the Titans defense is good enough to win you a championship. Now, the Titans offense has to get back to doing what it can do and what we've seen it do in the past. And you obviously need King Henry to do any of this. And that is a big, big linchpin that we're all waiting to see. But you're helping yourself out. They did all the heavy work by going 6-2 with Derrick Henry, and you went 8-2 with the first 2 games afterwards. You get that out of this 1-3 slide, and you finish strong, and you get your guys back, and you go out there in the playoffs and shock people, because I think the Titans can be one of the more dangerous teams in the AFC, right up there. I think they're better than the Patriots. I think they're better, or I think they're as good as the Chiefs that are playing right now. And the Colts game would be a knock them out, drag them out brawl in the playoffs if that happens. I think the Titans are better than the Bills. They're absolutely better than the Steelers. If A.J. Brown was playing, they beat the Steelers on Sunday. So I am at an 8 out of 10. If 10 is winning the Super Bowl, I am at an 8, which I think this team, I will be disappointed if this team does not win a playoff game because of the health that I'm expecting them to get back and how good this defense is playing.
All right, so that kind of leads me into the justification of my number. I'm at a 7, okay? And
Real
my
quick,
reasoning...
Can I respond to a comment?
Yeah.
Sorry. Trevor says, I don't agree with that, Austin. Talking about the defense. The defense last night played awful for the first half. If it wasn't for Jimmy G overthrowing a wide open Juice on the right side, you're looking at 14-0. Yeah, that's true. But the defense got you to 10-0 at halftime. The defense, Jackrabbit played that pass phenomenally in the end zone to jump George Kittle and get that interception to keep points off the board too. The first drive by the Niners and the second drive before the INT, I was like, oh my God, the Niners can name their score. But the defense locked down and they made plays. Christian Fulton had a bad night overall, but Bud Dupree and the other defensive guys up front, Jeff Simmons and Autry and Landry, they all played pretty well. And I still believe in this defense because of what they did by locking down the Niners after they got up 7-0.
So the question is, what is your confidence level on the Titans right now? 10 being a Super Bowl, 1 being missing the playoffs. I'm at a 7 because of 3 things. Three things I think prevent me from getting to a 10. Those 3 things are something that a couple of them they've struggled with. First is health.
Mm-hmm.
Can they stay healthy? They're getting healthy. Can they stay healthy? And avoiding another injury, I think, completely ruined. I mean, if you get hurt again, if AJ gets hurt again, that ruins your chances, right? You're probably not going to win a Super Bowl. So that, I think, notches me down from a 10 to a 9. I go from a 9 to an 8 because of Julio Jones. They traded for Julio Jones to put them over the edge. That was a Super Bowl trade, a second-round pick. They restructured his contract. They're paying that man $15 million. And why did they do that? They didn't put him on IR last week because they felt like he could be healthy enough to play in the playoffs. So Julio Jones is a question mark. I believe that if he cannot give you anything or gives you 1 catch for 7 yards, you're not going to win the Super Bowl. I don't think that you have the horses. So that brings me to my 8. What brings me to the 7, and people are not going to like this, but it says, I'm going to say it again, what I said when they were 3-4. I think that the Kansas City Chiefs, it's going to be hard to keep up with those guys because those guys have playoff and Super Bowl experience. They are the number 1 seed currently. Doesn't mean that they will enter the playoffs that way,
Mhm.
but I am fearful of that team. I was fearful of that team when they were 3-4. It was only a matter of time before they got it together. Now, if their defense is playing well, and you talk about a big 3, not the Titanic 3. It really should just be the solo 1 of A.J. Brown, because that's what the Titans have, and that's what they had last night. But Kelsey, Tyreek Hill, and Patrick Mahomes, that's scary. Julio Jones, Derrick Henry, and A.J. Brown is not as scary because of Julio Jones's play. So those are I'm at a 7. I think that it can be done.
Wait, who are the 3?
The 3 were maintained
No,
health.
no. For the Chiefs, who are the Chiefs 3?
Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Tyreek Hill.
You can't include the quarterback on one if you're not include the quarterback on the other.
Tannehill's not included.
Make it 4. Make it 4 then. Make it 4.
Why? That's not the big
Because
3. Tannehill's not a part of it. He's never been a part of it. Are you kidding me?
I'm just saying you're changing the rules. If a quarterback,
there's no rules.
Include the quarterback or don't include the quarterback.
The 3 best players.
I just say include the quarterback or don't include.
Who are the 3 best players
on the Titans? Offense? Like you're talking about the skill. Yeah, I mean it's Henry, it's AJ and Julio. Yeah. But again, I'm saying if you're going to include one quarterback, you have to include the other quarterback, or don't.
No, you don't. Patrick Mahomes is the best player out of any of them.
That's fine. I don't disagree with that. That's not my argument. And my point is that if you're going to compare the offenses, you can't just put one quarterback in and leave the other quarterback out. And if you want to say, I think the Titans.
Okay, do you want to add? You could add. You want to add Nick Westbrook, Ikena in there? I'll add Nico Hardman.
No. Make it the quarterback in the top 3. Right. That's my point.
I throw your point out. I told you the Chiefs are going to be the number 1 seed week 7, and that's what I believe that is going to happen. Those are the reasons why I'm at a 7, though, is because the Chiefs have better players. Plus, they've been further. They've won a Super Bowl before. They have a coach that has won a Super Bowl and has been to numerous championship games, right?
The big thing is you have to get the Chiefs in Nissan Stadium. If you want to get past them in the playoffs, you got to have them at home.
I said that, and I will stand by it. If the Titans get the number 1 seed and home field advantage throughout the playoffs, I will pick them to beat the Chiefs if they play the Chiefs. I will not shy away from that. And I've been Chop Nation all year long when everybody said I was crazy, including my co-host. And now I got sunshades on. But I will stand by what I said. If the Titans get the number 1 seed, I will pick them to win this or to go to the Super Bowl.
All right. A to Z Sports here live on this Friday. Mark says Kelsey and Hill are out against the Steelers. I don't know if they've been ruled out yet.
Yeah, that hasn't been confirmed because I play a fantasy game and I'm waiting on Austin Eckler on my team and Tyreek Hill on the Chiefs because that's really important.
Yeah. So they're not out completely. All right. We will talk about the 3 things Titans fans need to root for over the weekend and figure out which of the 3 things is most likely to happen. But real quick, let's ask this question. Who impressed you most in last night's Titans win outside of AJ Brown? And I have some stats on the Titans O-line and Dylan Radins. But first, Zach, tell us all about Wilson County Hyundai.
Yeah, Wilson County Hyundai is where you need to go to get your next ride. It is that simple when it comes to a vehicle. Why? Because Payne Bone and his team will hook you up with the perfect ride, whether it's the Palisade or the Elantra or the Sonata. They've got you. Quick trip down I-40 exit 236, and maybe you don't get there before Christmas because it's Christmas Eve. Maybe you get there next week before the new year. Maybe you get there after the new year. But if you're thinking for a newer used car, plus, look, they can take in trades. If you've got a used car, head on over to Wilson County Hyundai. They'll talk to you about buying your car, and then you could look at the lot and maybe test drive that Palisade. That 3rd row seating, all the bells and whistles will change your family's lifestyle. That's WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Don't forget, download the BetMGM app. Every morning, we're powered by BetMGM, the king of sportsbooks. Download the app, then use code ATOZ Sports. You make your first deposit, and your first bet is risk-free up to $1,000. It's a perfect way to jumpstart your bankroll, and it's a great time right now to make money on the BetMGM app. There's a lot of crazy spreads in the NFL, so you can get some moneyline parlays. They're handing out parlay boosts. They're handing out risk-free bets to current users as well as as it is Christmas Eve. So we got a gift from BetMGM this morning in that BetMGM app. Download the app, use our code ATOZ Sports, risk-free bet up to $1,000 with your first bet after your first deposit. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. You must be 21 years or older, must be present in Tennessee. For gambling problem support, call Tennessee Redline at 1-800-889-9789. Zach talking about who impressed us the most outside of A.J. Brown in the Titans win over the Niners last night. What are the comments saying?
Got a lot of Dylan Radins, and
Yep.
which is, I think, deservingly so. As Nathan says, forced Bosa over Radins from Nathan.
Do you want me to give you the stats on Dylan Radins that I saw this morning?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, so Pro Football Focus on Dylan Radins. They say he gave up 1 sack, which he did, 3 hits on Tannehill, 1 hurry, and 5 pressures allowed. So it sounds a lot worse than what it actually looked like, doesn't it?
Well, that's why all the coaches say, let me go watch the film, right? Because on the surface level, Radins played good for a guy making his first start against an all-pro, type player.
He also had 2 penalties. One was a chop block and one was the false start to start the third quarter.
Was the chop block his fault or the other guy?
Now, you can argue that it could be Aaron Brewer's fault. But again, I would have to go back.
That's why we got to go. We got to crunch tape.
I do know that on that play, Tannehill was rolling away from the left side of the line, so the chop block was completely unnecessary.
And it didn't. The play didn't work anyway.
It had no. Yeah, right. So, Dylan Radins gave up a lot of pressures, but 37 pass blocking snaps. I did see this from F-Word Pod. Nick Bosa lined up on Quessenberry 30 times and on Radins 23. And they pointed this out on the broadcast, is that the first half, Bosa was over on Radins. In the second half, he was over there on Quessenberry. And so maybe a lot of the bad Dylan Radins happened in that first half, because in the second half, I thought he played pretty well.
So I'm going to go with a comment that this was going to be my guy. And I think Joshua, I think he nails it, because, and this is one of those, this is what they call deep cuts. I know that, the Gen Zers, you're used to downloading and all that other stuff. But back in the day, even before our day, Austin, when our parents were putting down records, there was the B-side. You want that deep track? I think Jeremy McNichols was that deep cut on the other side of the record, because hard to find on the surface. McNichols, 7 carries, 31 yards. He averaged 4.4 yards per carry, and he had a long of 10. But it was the way he ran. I looked after contact for McNichols. That guy got 3 to 4 yards after contact multiple times. That's something. And Joshua Bennett, you'll get a Merry Christmas. You get a ho ho ho. You want to give him? I'll give him a ho ho ho. Oh, wow. I like that. See, we'll give you what you deserve. Joshua McNichols, sneaky good behind A.J. Brown's historic performance.
Yeah, Henry says it's about time you guys give Titans love. Look, we give Titans love when they win games, and for the first 10 weeks of the season, we gave the Titans a lot of love because they were 8-2.
I mean, I could care less if you think I'm giving them love or not giving them love. That's not why we do this show. I don't know how many times I got to tell people that. Yeah. We do this show to break down what we see, to get your comments and get your opinion and get you interactive. Again, if you want to go watch a guy with a bunch of Titans swag in his basement and telling him, hey, they're going to win the Super Bowl every single show, go for it. I don't care. That's fine. That's not what you get here. You get real, authentic topics with discussion. So I don't know how many people are breaking down Jeremy Nichols' run after the catch. I don't know where you can get that.
Yeah,
I don't even know how many people are working this morning, to be honest.
He was like a bullet going through the line there. I mean, it was pretty incredible. So, I mean, it was awesome. It was great to see. So I see a lot of people from the comments. I see that.
Yeah. Hey, Ronnie brings it up. We've got a perfect podcast. We actually created a podcast under our umbrella for fans that are mad at us not giving the desired love of the team. Go to the Tighten Up podcast, because that's what they are. And we love that. And they got a unique way of doing it. So there you go.
Yeah. So, okay. So other players who are getting some props in the comment section, Amani Hooker, the interception, and also probably played a pretty integral part in only allowing George Kittle to have 2 catches for 21 yards. I thought Amani Hooker played really well last night. That INT was massive. I also thought Bud Dupree probably played his best game overall as a Titan. He looks healthy. He's had a sack in each of the last 2 games, one in Pittsburgh, one last night on Jimmy G. This is why you signed Bud Dupree, right? We talked about this. You signed $82.5 million to an edge rusher who just tore his ACL. Well, you didn't sign him for September and October. You signed this dude for December and January. And if this is the Bud Dupree you're going to have moving forward, then this is a great thing for the Titans. And you don't feel crazy about giving up that money for a 5-year contract.
Bud Dupree just needed consistent time being consistently healthy, right? He started the season with an ACL and then had an abdomen injury, which, as anybody has known, an abdomen injury, a core injury, is like a back injury. It's debilitating. You can't move. You move right, it hurts. You move left, it hurts. And even A.J. Brown said that about his chest. So he's been dealing with stuff. So now that he is healthy, he can do what they signed him to do. And the best attribute about Bud Dupree since he entered the league from Kentucky, high motor. The guy doesn't stop. And that's the kind of pass rusher that you want, especially you're coming off of, last year when you had Jadeveon, half-ass Clowney and Vic Beasley, who didn't want to get off his couch and just wanted to get paid.
Yeah. Tina says not just McNichols, but Foreman and Westbrook and Kene, and of course Hooker, Dupree. Damn, they all stepped up. Tina's right. Nick NWI with 2 big 3rd and long conversions. Deontay Foreman got that touchdown. Okay,
Tina's having a pretty good Christmas Eve.
Yeah. All right. So I want to ask this question because I tweeted this out last night. Prince Foreman, how do you feel about that? Or Prince Deontay, or am I just stupid? Because you got King Henry and Deontay Foreman is a similar style, but not anywhere near the King. I think he's a Prince. So Prince Deontay or Prince Foreman, or shut the hell up, Austin.
I would say shut the hell up, Austin. You knew what I was going to say even probably before you asked the question. The guy just got picked up. Okay. The guy just got picked up. He's probably not going to be back this year. You don't need nicknames. Stop this tickle BS. Stop it, please. Stop it. Stop it.
I just thought it was funny.
Stop. Get some help. Stop. Not everybody needs a nickname, especially just like a guy who was picked up. He wasn't even the leading rusher last night. Come on. Stop trying to nickname.
I'm doing this just to see everybody freak out. No more nicknames. Ty Kendrick says Duke. Call him Duke Foreman. Duke Deontay. Prince sounds suspect. Squire McNichols. Oh my gosh, Jester, the Duke.
Okay, all right, okay. Now stop reading comments. Stop.
It's so funny. It's so funny. So I just wanted to just kind of stir that pot and see what happened.
So it's I'm good, Julio. All good, Julio. I mean, come on, get out of here.
Oh my God, Julio Jones, Tulio Jones. I got him for days.
Here's the love of the show, Cringemas. Oh my gosh, Mark, who watches the show consistently. Mark, you're getting the love of the show because that is exactly how I feel currently, is Cringemas.
No, I just had beautiful troll job by me just to ruffle Zach's feathers on Christmas Eve with a stupid nickname. The Archduke Deontay. All right, let's move on from. Okay.
Well,
no. Junior, go back. Junior needs to go to timeout.
Man, I'm already giving out the love of the show. That's good comedy right there. So where is he on?
Junior's on Facebook.
Junior
so
on? Is he on Facebook?
You can hit him with that love of the show.
Is he on YouTube?
No, he's on Facebook. You can hit him with the love.
So I need some water. That was good. Junior, not suitable for Christmas. But funny comment right there.
All right, let's get back on track. 3 things that need to happen.
Let's get back on track.
I know. I was trying to get us back on track before Junior derailed us again. All right, so 3 things Titans fans need to root for to get the AFC 1 seed after this weekend. We'll talk about this, but real quick, as Zach tries to gather himself. let me tell you guys all about the Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Check out the Bone and Joint Institute. Whenever an injury unfortunately happens to you in life, know who to go to, know who to trust. The Bone and Joint Institute. Again, you can check out the Doc Talk segments that we've done throughout this season on Derrick Henry. They have experts in any type of joint injury that you might have in life. So check them out. Trust them. boneandjointtn.org.
I have a quick joke before we move on. Jay says Julio TV, move over Hulu, more like no more service. I'm sorry, they're in a contract dispute. We cannot get your service anymore, like YouTube and DirecTV had for that period of time. Or was it? I guess it was all services for YouTube TV and ESPN Disney. But if you are thinking about getting into the betting game, betting on games this weekend, we got you covered. Promo code ATOZ Sports for a risk-free bet up to $1,000 at BetMGM.
Okay, 3 things need to happen this weekend, and the Titans are, and our guy Ian in Scotland was DMing me this morning, which is like lunchtime for him, about Ian over there doing research while we're sleeping for us to help figure out how the Titans get the 1 seed. And it's honestly pretty simple. So here are the 3 things that Titans fans need to root for this weekend. Saturday night, Christmas night, the Colts at the Cardinals. You got to want the Colts to lose. If the Colts lose to the Cardinals, the Titans clinch the AFC South for back-to-back years for the first time in franchise history. So that's a big deal on Saturday night. On Sunday at noon, Bills at the Patriots. You want the Patriots to lose to the Bills. Then Saturday at 3 p.m., the Chiefs are hosting the Steelers. The Chiefs have some COVID situations going around with some star offensive weapons like Kelsey and Hill. You want the Chiefs to lose to the Pittsburgh Steelers. So if all 3 of these things happen, if the Colts lose to the Cardinals, the AFC South is locked up. If the Patriots and Chiefs lose this weekend, the Titans are in the 1 spot for the AFC. Now, to hold on to the 1 spot in the AFC, the Titans have to win out. I think it's really, you're asking too much if you don't expect the Titans to win out. You beat the Dolphins, you beat the Texans, and you got a great chance, a 51% chance to get the 1 seed if you take care of your business. Then all you got to have is for the Chiefs and the Patriots to have 1 loss each. They both have to happen. 1 loss for each of them in the last 3 games for the Chiefs and the Patriots, and Titans to win out for the Titans to get the 1 seed in the AFC, which would be massive, massive, massive. So how do you feel about this situation here?
So I think that I don't foresee the Chiefs losing this week. I just don't think the Steelers are that type of team. Now, the Bills and the Patriots game is going to be a good game. That's going to be a game that I'm going to saddle up, sit on my couch, get my I gotta have my, now this is going to be nice. I'm going to have to work. I get my laptop, got my TV, got my phone. I'm going to stream every possible NFL game that you possibly can. I may put that Bills Patriots up on the big screen. That's going to be a good game. But more likely, if we're asking the question of what is more likely of the 3 things most likely to happen, I believe it is the Cardinals to bounce back after losing in Detroit and beating the Colts. That also tomorrow is going to be a game that I will sit down kind of in my chair, snuggle in, and watch football. Man, I mean, there's good news peppered all over this weekend, besides all the bad news that COVID has brought. So I'd say most likely is the Colts lose to the Cardinals, which makes them AFC South champions, which solidifies them as a home playoff team, right? They just don't know their seeding. But I think for this week, that would be my answer.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the fact that the Cardinals got their asses kicked by the Lions last weekend helps the Titans situation at this point, right? Like there's always a big opportunity for a bounce back, and the Colts are the only of these 3 teams who are on the road. And I don't know
in Arizona.
Yeah, I don't know if Arizona is an amazing home field advantage or not, but typically whenever you have a team that's got double-digit wins with three games to go, the crowd's into it, right? And right before Christmas, or right after Christmas, technically on the 26th or Christmas Day, you would expect the crowd to be in it right there. So I agree with you. I think the Colts have looked really good, and it's about time that Carson Wentz
Has a bad game.
makes more catastrophic mistakes. The guy gets away with more should be interceptions than anybody I've ever seen. And it just doesn't, he just keeps on going, right? And so I think that the Colts are due for a letdown. So Louis says go Colts. No, I mean, you want the Colts to lose to the Cardinals. You'd prefer for the Colts to be out of this thing.
So Austin, we agree on that
Yes.
the Cardinals most likely being the Colts. What's second?
It depends on Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill's availability. And Jason says all three of these outcomes are reasonable. I mean, I kind of agree.
With Kelce and Hill out, yeah.
Massive asterisk, right? Like massive. Now, it doesn't matter.
They're probably not going to be out for the playoffs, so
that's fine. As long as if you're the Titans, you want the Chiefs to have to come to Nissan Stadium again in the playoffs, not go to Arrowhead. Because the Titans are 2-0 against Mahomes at home. They're 0-1 against Mahomes in Arrowhead. And that was the AFC Championship game. So I think overall, I expect Kelce and Hill to play. That's just how I'm going to operate until they're officially ruled out because of their COVID situation, because there's still time. I want to say they went on the COVID list on Tuesday or Wednesday. And so that's plenty of time to get back on Sunday, if vaccinated, to have enough negative tests in a short window to be able to play on Sunday afternoon. So I think the second most likely is the Bills beating the Patriots. Now it's in New England, which is always tougher to do, but that's
revenge game.
Yeah. Josh Allen revenge game opportunity, I think. And that game was close, right? And it was in crazy weather. I really think the main reason why the Patriots won the first matchup against the Bills in Buffalo is because of the crazy weather they had. If the weather wasn't like that and the wind wasn't whipping, Josh Allen would have won that game. And he almost did anyway.
Yeah, with the Patriots threw the ball
three times.
Yeah, that cost me my 1 seed in my fantasy because Hunter Henry didn't get a damn catch because he didn't throw the ball. But the Patriots last week, they looked bad. And Bill Belichick, I don't know if you saw this, he went out and he doesn't usually apologize, but he apologized to the media for being short with them after the loss to the Colts because he's like, well, we just I had to look at the film, but I'm sorry for being short. that means that they played really bad. So, man, really good games. Man, I love the NFL this time of year.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's going to be interesting. The Titans, I mean, how much you just feel so much better with the Titans situation moving forward.
And how they played in the second half. That's more
Yes.
important. It wasn't like Pittsburgh, let's say they win. Let's say they go down and they score, right? And they beat Pittsburgh 20-19, but they had 4 turnovers. They played terrible. They gave up a big lead. That's a different story. What we saw last night in that second half was good football from the Titans. That's what you want to see.
Rashid says AJ had to warm up. Again, AJ Brown's stats nuts, right? 11 catches. That's a career high.
He didn't practice. He's out. He's on IR.
Well, he practiced on Tuesday. The only day of practice he did practice. It just wasn't on
one day.
Short week. Yeah. Just, he tweeted he misses playing football. And AJ Brown made Titans fun again. They made watching the Titans fun again last night. And Chad's right. Todd Downing is still predictable. Todd Downing is still going to be a problem, but good players cover up bad coaching, right? And that's sometimes. And remember that Delaney Walker quote? It was pre-Mike Vrabel staff, but how Delaney Walker caught a lot of heat and praise of saying that you have to overcome coaching, that players need to overcome the coaching. And I think that's what we're seeing AJ Brown do, is overcome the coaching and play calling from Todd Downing last night. And I will say there were several times where Todd Downing called a good play and a player slipped or dropped it or a hold penalty happened, like the Deontay Foreman run, good play call, right? The A.J. Brown slipped on third down or on second down. It hit him in his face and he fell. Good play call to an open receiver. He slipped, right? So, but Todd Downing needs to not do whatever he did in the first half last night because it was atrocious.
Yeah, it's a two-way street. And the last thing I'll say before good news is Tannehill. I don't know if you saw Christina Pink interview him last night after the game. Tannehill literally said, I miss him. I missed him. I think that went two ways. I think they missed his energy, his excitement, his swag, but they missed him more importantly on the field with his ability because he's just a game changer. I mean, again, if I was just a Titans fan, if I was just a fan, I didn't have any ties to the media or anything. I mean, A.J. Brown, that's the guy you're buying the jersey. Screw number 2. Get you an 11. Get you I would get a white. I'd get all 3 if I was a fan. I mean, that's that. A.J. Brown's the man, and he showed that last night.
Yeah, and so I see this from Jay. He says the past 5 weeks, the Titans did not look like a team that can convert on 3rd and long. Last night, they converted on 3rd and 10 multiple times in the second half. Jay, I've got this. Mike Vrabel said they converted 6 times on 3rd and 10 or longer. That's nuts. And 2 of them were NWI. I believe the other 4 were all A.J. Brown. One of them was the offsides by San Fran, and Tannehill chucks it up, right? So again, he is a difference maker. A.J. Brown is the difference maker in this Titans offense when they don't have Derrick Henry. Now, when they have Derrick Henry, now you get back to the dynamic duo of play action to Henry, slant to AJ, where you see these 7-yard passes go for 77 for a touchdown, right? We still haven't really seen that a lot this year. It happened in Indy, but we haven't really seen it all that much this year from AJ, the big breakaway touchdown run. But you got to hope it's coming soon.
Yeah, I think it will. More playing time, more big plays.
Yeah, and Michael Bishop says you got to extend AJ soon. That's coming this offseason. So we are going to have several offseason conversations about how much the Titans are going to pay AJ Brown coming up in February or March or whenever that contract negotiation happens. But the Titans have a lot of more work to do in the next month and a half to get to the Super Bowl. That's their updated goal there. So, all right, time for Ain't That Good News to send us all to the Christmas weekend. It's been a great fall, a great football season for us here at A to Z Sports. So let's wrap up this Christmas week with Ain't That Good News like we do every week, every Friday. So share your good news with us. We'll do the same for you guys. But real quick, mandu.com, your first workout is absolutely free. It's a full body workout that only lasts 15 minutes because it's full body electronic muscle stimulation and it's real. It'll help you gain strength, gain muscle mass, target hard to burn body fat, and lay easy on those banged up and old and injured joints that you might have. So if you can't lift weights like you used to, or if you don't have time like you used to, because one 15-minute workout equals 5 or more hours in the weight room with Mandu, check out mandu.com. Your first workout is free. And if you tell them A to Z Sports sent you, they'll take $100 off that first month when you sign up at mandu.com.
A to Z Sports, we are powered by BetMGM. Download the app today. This is a great Christmas Eve, December 24th on a Friday. Let's get it.
Time for Ain't That Good News. Everybody share your good news, and we'll head to the comment section to read it here on this Friday. We always do good news on a Friday. So we'll get some of your good news comments here. So Jason says, good news, got a Corvette and some New Balance shoes to match. Merry Christmas. That sounds like a joke, but that's hilarious. So good news here. Zach, I'll start with my good news as more trickles in for you guys. I like white Christmas. I like snow on Christmas. That sounds fun. But if it's not going to snow, be in the 60s and sunny. Because it's going to get up to 70 degrees tomorrow on Christmas Day. And I'm all about that. Like either be snowy or be nice where I can go out there and hang out outside. We can go on dog walks. We can go play outside all day long on Christmas Day. So my good news is I am pumped up because we got no work in the next 2 days, Zach. No work, right? That's rare for us in football season. So give me some good weather on the weekend, especially on Christmas. That is my good news.
Terrence says, good news. Happy 22nd birthday to his son. So happy birthday there.
There you go.
Let's see here. Rolling in good news. We got a lot of comments. Good news from Donnie. The first time in his life done Christmas shopping before Christmas Eve. That's a bold move right there.
Sometimes people do better with deadlines.
I was pretty damn efficient with mine this year. The internet helps, right? BMO says, good news watching A to Z Sports on Christmas Eve with his oldest son, 9, excited for Christmas. So shout out to BMO, who's a longtime listener out in New Mexico. So shout out to BMO. Orlando says, good news, the in-laws aren't coming this year for the holidays. Update on Big Ten Jeff's leg. We thought he was on IR. Good news, x-rays came back negative, and he's starting to be able to walk some and put pressure on that left Achilles. So you got to remember.
He might still be on IR, but he's got 1 game under his belt. So he's got at least 2 more weeks in IR. So Big Ten Jeff can come back for the playoffs.
Yeah, he's not done for the season. So just no quick turns for that.
Yeah, you and Lenny Fournette are out into the playoffs.
G-Man on base says, good news. The New Year's Eve gig is sold out. 4th consecutive sellout, Pickwick Landing State Park. So there you go. G-Man on base playing, slapping the bass, I assume. I mean,
he's on the base. That's right.
Slapping that bass. Jay says, good news. I'm about to launch his new business next month. Hey, we're entrepreneurs ourselves. So we wish you the best of luck. Organized and hire the right people. Those are my 2. That's my suggestions for you. Get organized and hire the right people. So here's my good news. And this is tough because I feel like this year has been kind of peppered with bad news. So I'm planning on going to my girlfriend's family's house in Memphis, but a couple of their family members, they have COVID. So Christmas is essentially canceled. That trip is canceled. So I'll be here in Nashville, and it will be a different type of Christmas. And I also won't be able to travel to Denver with my sister and her kids. But that leads me to my good news. Giving. I do, like, everybody loves receiving gifts, but I do value giving away. And I am super excited to see my niece and my nephew open their gifts. So my nephew, Ryan, and I don't think he shouldn't be watching this. Ryan, earmuffs.
He's probably
earmuffs
asleep
if you're
out
watching.
there in mountain time, right?
He's a big Mario guy. All right. Yeah. So he wanted this. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Ryan, get off. You don't stop watching. He wanted this Rainbow Road Mario Kart set that was sold out everywhere. I mean, I'm talking everywhere. You couldn't find it. So I had to go on the black market. And look, I'm pretty good on the back end markets. I mean, in college, I had 2 pledges in fraternity, and they probably kicked me out and banned the fraternity from this now. But I had 2 pledges, stand in line for 24 hours to get a PS3 when that was launched. I had to go in the black market and find this Rainbow Road track. And I actually also got additional racers, which were hard to find. So watching the FaceTime of him opening this gift, and he will never know the extent of how difficult and how expensive this damn Mario Kart racetrack is. That I am looking forward to. And then also, my niece, Marley, she's into arts and crafts. I got her. So he got the big present. He gets 1 present.
Yes.
So I got to shower Marley with about 4 presents.
Right.
So I feel like that's fair. That's going to weigh out. But
yeah,
my good news is watching my family members, even via FaceTime, open the gifts that I gave.
Good news. Extra time with family for us this weekend. And so looking forward to enjoying the nice weather outside. And then Eric brings up A to Z Dallas should be y'all's good news. The Cowboys clinched a playoff spot where the Niners lost yesterday. So there you go. So now we're gonna have 2 teams in the 3 teams if you count Kansas City in the playoffs. A to Z Sports playoff bound.
And I'm talking about growth for Dallas. Very proud of that market on how much we've grown, over 100% from where we started the season. So I think that is on a good trajectory. I like the way we're heading into the new year. And we'll kind of probably talk a little bit more about this. Well, we're off next Friday, so maybe a little teaser.
Are we off next Friday?
What day is that?
I don't know, man. We got Vols bowl game on Thursday, and then there's college football semifinals on that Friday. I don't know. We'll have to talk about that later on.
I mean, we'll have to talk about that later.
We'll have to have the conversation. Sounds like somebody wants off, and somebody.
Well, I just don't care about. I don't value what you value in that conversation. But I'm a team player.
I'm just saying, maybe we'll find out. Regardless, Darren says expanded the New York market. Michael says, will there be A to Z New York soon? There's gonna be A to Z a lot of places.
You never know. You never know what 2022 will hold.
Yeah. Watching an admin discussion live on air. Yeah, we'll have another conversation about next Friday. But hope everybody has a great Christmas weekend. Stay safe, stay good, and we will see you guys on Monday to see how the NFL weekend plays out for the Titans. So we'll see you guys later on. Have a great one, and Merry Christmas to y'all. We'll see you Monday. Thanks.
Buenos dias. Is that right?